On the Thursday before LeBron left for LA, I wrote a story that said, if LeBron James leaves Cleveland again, what will he say? He had painted such a picture of being connected with Cleveland when he came back that it would be difficult for him to explain this. And I turned to Denise Bosdorf, a professor at the College of Wooster and a former professor of mine, who actually spent a considerable amount of time researching LeBron and his words and his rhetoric as it pertained to him leaving and coming back.
When he was a junior in high school, he gets his photo on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the chosen one. We have King James, an early Nike commercial talked about witness, and we are all witnesses. Well, what got my attention with that 2014 letter was, again, the use of religious language, but this time it really seemed to be the proverb of the prodigal son. So that LeBron James was both the wayward son who's come back. He's realized that Northeast Ohio and his relationship with that region, just like the son realizes his relationship with the father is more important than seeking pleasure, has come home. And at the same time, he also portrayed himself as really being the forgiving father, because he said, well, Dan Gilbert and I've sat down and talked man to man, and we've all made mistakes. Who am I to judge, right? And people were like, oh. It was perfectly orchestrated. Just the words and the language that he used were words that resonate with people who have been here and survived the winters and the tough economy at times. And with the words alone, like before he played a single game, before they won it all in 2016, you felt like what he was saying was making it right. I think as he got into the playoffs and really began to realize the state of the Cavs, who they had on their team, and how difficult it would be to change that over the next couple years, I think he is when the tide really began to turn. We all have had times where we thought this is what we're going to do, this is going to be forever, and it altered. I think the key, though, is how do you explain that change? In this case, he's got a couple of advantages, in terms of context. People can look at it and say, he really did give this everything that he had. Right? Everything that he had. He has, this last year, perhaps played his finest basketball of his entire career with a team that often, let him down. He also brought them the championship. One thing that's really interesting is that in the open letter, he never promised them a championship. In fact, he said, I can't promise a championship, right? But he brought it.
He knows when he wants to make a political statement or a statement of social justice. He knows how and he knows when. He knows when he wants to make a statement about the direction of the Cavs or his franchise. He knows how to do that. And I think he fairly well foreshadowed his leaving as we got into the finals. When he started talking, he was discussing what kind of player it takes to beat the Warriors, and he made it pretty clear that those guys weren't in Cleveland.
It has really been a kick to be able to continue to stay in touch with Joe since he graduated, to watch his career be so successful, and to have the opportunities just to talk about these same kinds of ideas that at one time we would have been talking about maybe in the context of a classroom instead.